Hey guys, it's Benedictines the Vegan. Today I was watching a movie recap. This movie is about the future where people were equal, but they were not equal because of natural processes. They were equal because society had reached a point where they don't allow people to have advantages over one another. For an example, if you are too beautiful, they'll put a mask on your face so that no one will see your face, so that you won't have advantage over other people. If you are too intelligent, they'll put a helmet on your head, and if you think way more than you're supposed to, it will hurt. That helmet will make you feel a lot of pain. So you weren't really supposed to think deeply. Pain was stopping people from thinking in that movie. Let me ask you a question. Is pain good? A lot of people will say, yeah, pain is good because it tells you what not to do. If something is wrong in your body, it tells you. So that makes it good because it protects you. Without pain, we wouldn't exist. And that's true, right? It's true that if there was no pain, we wouldn't exist. But we have to ask ourselves very important questions. Because in this life, we are trying our best to avoid pain and to chase pleasure. Are we not limiting ourselves because of that? Because we're chasing pleasure. We want what feels good and we're trying to avoid pain and suffering at all costs. So isn't that limiting us somehow? Because think about it, there are a lot of people in this world who don't think that deeply. The reason why they don't think deeply is because it hurts. You know, there are a lot of people who are afraid of the truth. Why? Because the truth hurt. And that's the reason why we're living in the world that we're living in today. Is because a lot of people are avoiding the truth. They are chasing what feels good. What feels bad, what makes them feel pain, they're trying to avoid by any means. And sometimes the things that are painful bring us closer to truth. They bring us closer to solutions. Don't you feel like we're being manipulated through pleasure and pain? If you don't do what the system wants you to do, then you're gonna suffer. And a lot of people are afraid of suffering. A lot of people are afraid of pain. So they become slaves because they can't endure the suffering. Because if we weren't afraid of pain, or if pain wasn't that bad, then we would be much more logical. We would actually ask ourselves if some of the things that we are doing make sense. If you have a job and your job just sucks, even if losing your job would be painful, you wouldn't really mind losing it if pain was not a problem, right? So if there was no pain, then you wouldn't mind losing your job if your job is bad because pain is not the problem. But people are afraid of suffering. People are afraid of what's gonna happen if they continue to work their shitty jobs because they know that they're gonna lose a lot of people that are in their lives. You know, as a man, you might lose your wife, you might lose your family if you don't have a job anymore. So that's what being used to enslave us. We're afraid of suffering. We're afraid of pain. And someone might say, yes, we should be, and we must be trying to avoid it at all cost. And I do agree. But it seems to me that at this point, it's the only way to get to truth. It's the only way for us to liberate ourselves. You see, just like the example that I gave you about people's intelligence being limited because they were afraid of what these people would do, or they were afraid of the advantages that these people would have over other people. Our society is kind of like that. It is very, very painful to take a journey of truth. It is very, very painful to choose truth over the lie. The lie has been made to be very, very comfortable, to be comforting, you see. So people choose lies over truth because of that. They're afraid of the pain that they'll have to go through in order to understand what the truth is. So we are living in a comfortable lie. You know, we're choosing comfort over the truth. The truth, which is that we are slaves. The truth is that you are born into a world of enslavement. And you chose to settle because you're afraid of what you're going to go through if you decide to free yourself. And it's not easy, is it? It's not easy to free yourself. So that's how we're being manipulated as a society. We can see that we live in a fucked up world. I don't think there's a human being that is incapable of seeing that. But because they're afraid of pain, because they're afraid of suffering, then they don't take a stand, you see. And I think that's what's going to make things worse for humanity as a whole, because we are trying our best to avoid suffering instead of really taking a stand as a collective and go through what we need to go through to free ourselves. You see, there's no other way. There's no other way. We have to go through something that is painful in order to free ourselves. So even though pain is bad, we have to realize that it is what is being used to manipulate us, you see. It's like if you are supposed to if you are trapped in a prison, and to get out of that prison you were supposed to walk through fire, and there was no other way that you could escape the prison. Even though pain is bad, but because you need to escape, then you have to walk through fire. You don't have a choice. You know, it's the only way. That's how things are right now, because we have let this happen, and there's no other way that we can actually free ourselves. So we just have to walk through fire and free ourselves, and we should just hope that we actually make it to the other side as a collective. Think about it. Think of how you live your life every day. Are you not trying to avoid pain? Are you not chasing pleasure but trying to avoid pain? Because I think that's how many people live their lives. They're trying to avoid pain and chase pleasure. And that's what we're being taught, you know, to avoid pain by any means. But if you really decided to embrace the pain, if you really decided to embrace the suffering that you need to go through to free yourself, then at least you'll be able to do that. At least you'll be able to free yourself. We're too attached to this matrix, man. We are so afraid of all the things that we'll lose, all the things that we're attached to, because we're afraid of the pain that comes with it. We're afraid of the suffering that comes with it. But does this make sense to you? Does it make sense to you that we must live the way that you are living today? Does it make sense to you that you have to wake up in the morning and go to work for 8-9 hours for minimum wage, while there are people who are making billions every year? Does that make sense to you? The gap between the rich and the poor is unbelievable, and we accept that as a society. Standing up against this system will cause you a lot of pain. It will cause you a lot of suffering, and people don't want to do that. People still want to be comfortable. So that's why I'm saying that pain is bad, but pain is what is being used to keep us in this matrix. Because we are afraid of pain. So it's our fear of pain that is being used against us. You see? So that's why I don't consider pain a good thing, because it is being used to manipulate us. It's very, very important to realize how pain is being used every day to manipulate people, how fear is being used to manipulate people. And fear, you don't fear what you fear because of anything else other than pain. You're not afraid of anything. If there was no pain, you wouldn't be afraid of shit. Anything that you're afraid of it because of pain. You see? So yeah, anything that can cause pain, you're afraid of it. And the people that are running this shit know that. They know that human beings are cowards. They know that human beings don't want to feel pain. Human beings want to feel pleasure. So they give you, or they make you do things that they want you to do. And if you do these things very well, then you're going to get the pleasure that you want, and you will be avoiding pain, but temporarily, because you will have to continue to do this shit that they want you to do. You see? If we really want to be honest with ourselves, we have to truly acknowledge the fact that no, man, this world is truly fucked up. It is fucked up to be anyone's slave. Fuck that. Like, why should you be anyone's slave? It's not like these people brought you into this world. So you must truly be free. You must be your own God. You must truly, truly free yourself from the matrix. But human beings are so afraid of that. Human beings are so afraid of being alone, because that is painful. But the truth is, if you find a way to free yourself enough, you actually realize that it is better to be alone than to be with other people, because these people are in the matrix, bro. So if you truly, decide to bite the bullet and free yourself, then you're gonna be in a better position than a lot of people that are still in the matrix, than a lot of people that are still being controlled every day. There's no other way around it. That is why I keep on saying bringing people here is bad, because of that. People are born into slavery, and we cannot say that that is a good thing, you see. I understand that we feel a lot of pleasure doing things that bring people here. I understand that, because we're being manipulated through that. The fact that you have to feel pleasure when you're having sex shows you that this is a clever trick that is being used. It's a biological trick, really, that is being used to bring more slaves here. That's it. You're not doing it because you really want to do it. It's because you're chasing pleasure. So you choose to bring people here. And you might say, no, I actually want kids. I know there are a lot of people who think they want kids. But what makes you want kids? Is it your logic, or is it the feelings that you want to feel? Because you want to feel pleasure. If it was painful to have sex, for an example, if having sex was painful, many people wouldn't be having kids. That if it was painful to raise children, Many people wouldn't be having kids, and you might say, no, it's actually really painful. Like, nah, not really, man. It's like being addicted to drugs. We know that drugs are bad for our health, and they do cause us a lot of pain, but they also cause us a lot of pleasure, and that's what we are chasing. We're chasing pleasure, and if things go very well when you are raising your children, then you'll feel a lot of pleasure, I guess. If you raise your children right and they become what they want to become, you're gonna feel a lot of pleasure. So you are chasing that. It's the hope that you have. It's the optimism bias that your kids are gonna make it. Your kids are gonna make things better for you in the future. You know, you don't want to let go of a chance of that happening, of you feeling real pleasure, you know, of having children, I guess. So it's about that. It's about pleasure. No one is selfless because human beings want to act like they're being selfless when they have children. No, you're not having kids for selfless reasons. You're having kids for selfish reasons. It's about you. It's about what you want to feel. It's you want your life to be meaningful, and that's why you're bringing children here. You don't know how to derive meaning from a lot of things that you do, so you feel like bringing children here is gonna give your life meaning, but most of the times it doesn't. Most of the times it doesn't, man. Thank y'all, guys.